And I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited, and I thank you very much for this opportunity to be part of this very, very important event. I'm in Uganda. Uganda is a part, it's called the Pearl of Africa in East Africa. Yes. Once again, my name is Isabella Mukankusi. I'm a human rights lawyer located in Uganda. I have a degree in law from London Metropolitan in the United Kingdom. I currently work in Uganda working on human rights issues, ranging from women's rights, children's rights, prisoners' rights. And at the moment, I'm a human rights fellow at the Columbia University under the Institute for Study of Human Rights as a human rights, on the Human Rights Advocacy Program for 2021, which is currently going online. But in January, I'll be excited to join the rest 12 advocates in New York. Well, I became a defender because of it is what I wanted to pursue as a career, but also because of personal circumstances. Personal circumstances, meaning that I come from in Africa, we have a big families. So I come from a very big family, and in a country where education for a girl child is actually a privilege. Many of the young girls are married off early. They don't believe that a girl should go to school. But I was one of the girls that was able to go to school. And in my community, I was seeing so many girls dropping out of school, getting pregnant, and they were being married off early. So that gave me a reason to pursue human rights so that I'm able to defend the rights of girls so that girls can continue in school. And they should not just be married because their families want money in exchange, what we call bride price. And my second reason for my passion for joining human rights is also based on other personal circumstances. I have special interest in disability rights. I'm actually working on disability rights on the human rights program at Columbia, focusing on mental health. My younger brother who follows me has had mental illness. He's been sick with mental illness for over 20 years, and I've been acting as one of his carers. And when we care for him, we have learned that in society, people who have his condition are really not cared about. Nobody cares about them. All they care about is giving them medicine, and they don't really consider their human rights. For example, their right to involve them in the decision-making process about their lives. So that really gave me a push to defend the rights of people with disability. Thank you very much for this very interesting question. Now, I would like to share, I lost my full-time job last year because of the pandemic. I was working in a maximum security prison as, can you hear me? Yes. I was working in a maximum security prison. I can share a link of the work of that organization. I was working for an organization called Justice Defenders.
Justice Defenders.
A charity set up in the United Kingdom, but they're working mainly in Uganda and Kenya. So part of our work was to teach students in the maximum security prison and in another prison. I'm talking about people serving sentences of life of 50 years and above. We were teaching them the law, a program that was they were doing under the University of London, external program, to teach them to advocate for themselves in court, because we found out that the biggest challenge for prison, remember during COVID, they're saying social distance, but in prison it's not possible. You can't social distance because they're congested. There's a lot of congestion. So we taught the prisoners to advocate for themselves in court, to write their appeals, to write their documents to court, to go to court and do what a lawyer is supposed to do for them, because 90% of them are very poor. Just excuse me for a minute. Someone is passing here.
No, that's okay. Please pass.
Okay. Yes. So as the pandemic hit, the prisons closed to everyone, including the public, including family members. They could not visit.
Repeat again.
I said during the COVID pandemic, prisons had to close because they were avoiding cross-contamination. If you allow people, they would bring COVID into the prison, and that would be a big problem. So even our work came, yes. So even our work had
closed like
shut down.
Nothing. Nothing can in, nothing can out.
Yes, please.
And how about food? How about the medical issues like?
Now that is the prison authorities are not allowing anyone to enter prison, any visitors, any people working in prison with programs like our program, because my office was inside prison. They were on, even the workers, the prison authorities, I don't know if you use the same word. I see in some countries they use inmates, but even the prison officers were staying in prison. They were not allowed to come out of prison because of they feared taking the COVID into the prison. Yes, so that story, the story that inspired me mostly is you can understand that now the prisoners are left to find their own justice, their welfare. Because of the good training that we had given them, they were able to continue the work inside prison to teach other prisoners about their rights. The work continued. And I think that was a really great. They were working like paralegals, like you can have paramedics who are not real doctors, but they're doing basic medical work. So they were also doing basic legal information to fellow inmates, which information was life-changing for some of them, because we have seen some of them writing their own appeals and succeeding. They go to court and win a case without a lawyer. I left the organization because of they reduced the staff, but because I work on disability rights, my area now is to, among the people that we advocate for their rights are people with mental illness, and in prison we have a big number of those. So particularly, my particular interest now is focusing on ensuring that they receive justice, so that they don't stay in prison for 20 years without a trial.
Yeah.
Oh, a film. The story of Nelson Mandela is a very inspiring story. And there's a video, there's a movie based on his life. You see someone staying in prison for 26 years. They go and then he comes out and becomes a president. The favorite part I like about that is out of the movie we get to see the United Nations actually coming up with the rules. I think you don't know if you heard of the Mandela rules, picking something that is binding on the whole world. Seeing the best part, basically seeing someone rising up from just a prisoner to a president, and a president of a big nation. What my dream is actually I could be living in a not the real world, because every day we see a lot of human rights violations. I want to see a free and just society where, for example, people with disability are included in all spheres of. They're not left out. They're not mistreated by their own families, by their own governments. I just want to see a just society where a girl is able to go to school, and without reading about terrible stories of girls, for example, currently during COVID. In my country, children have been out of school for 2 years. We want to see a society where everyone is kind to the girl child. You're not abusing her. We have so many cases of sexual and gender-based violence. So a free and just society for me is a dream I would want to see. Thank you very much for that. That's a big question. I want to say human rights in Africa are considered a Western thing. It's a Western concept, but I want to see the whole world involved, not just learning about their rights, but implement the rights, give people their rights. These are rights which are, let people have their rights. This is not a state, it's their rights as of birth. So the state should ensure that people are not violated. Their rights are not violated. Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for those kind words, and thank you for having me on this program. I do really appreciate, and I look forward to further collaborations with your networks. Thank you.
Okay.